All right, let's bring in our powerhouse panel with Republican strategist and attorney Amanda Mackey, political analyst Mark Halperin, constitutional and civil rights attorney and Newsmax contributor Amir Benno, and National Advisory Board member at Project 21, Christopher Arps. All right, thank you guys for joining us. It is Friday before the 4th of July. Thank you for getting up early and hanging with us. I want to start, though, on the news that we've been talking about over the last week, the tragic building collapse in Florida. And the president made his way down to Florida and said that the federal government will do whatever they can to help. Take a listen.
And I think my colleagues will tell you we cut through the bureaucracy. The one order I gave the federal folks was no bureaucracy, just cut through it, get to whatever they need. That's why we decided to cover, for example, 100% of the search and rescue cost for the first 30 days. Not done often, but necessary here, in my view. And FEMA is going to provide temporary housing and other urgent needs for the survivors.
Amanda, this was something that, we don't really hear a lot of talk when, the president and governors in Republican states, they're usually arguing, right? They're usually talking politics. But this is something, the president went down there. He said, we're going to give you what you need. What does this mean, for the federal government to be involved in this since day one? Because you're in Florida, right?
I am, and it's hugely important. Look, the state has really taken on this as a major cause because it's tragic, but all around us there are high-rise condominiums on the beaches, and people are scared. People are scared that it could happen to them. So everyone is now cautioned about this, not just in Florida, throughout the country, but it's good to see nonpartisanship happening. You want this to be a nonpartisan thing. You want this to be about the governor working with the mayor, working with the president, all three levels of government working together to make sure that the efforts that are underway to find bodies, presumably that's what this is, are underway, that you can relieve the people who are working so hard, these first responders who have been working night after night, day after day. It's a very challenging thing, but great to see government working at all levels, because there are many examples of where a Democrat and a Republican, in the instance of Chris Christie, for example, governor of New Jersey at the time, and Obama, and it became a big political issue. It shouldn't be. This should be about working together to make sure that we find as many survivors or just get through the effort that we can.
Absolutely. Mark, search and rescues were halted because of the shift in rubble of the building. Now officials are saying that the rest of the building will likely be demolished. How concerning is this for, other condo buildings, not only in Florida, but across the country?
Oh, it's obviously super concerning, and the local authorities need to deal with that situation there. And I think the state and federal authorities need to figure out what needs to be done here. This is like not on the scale of a pandemic, but it requires a new paradigm, a new look at building structures, at safety, and at what the responsibilities are of condo boards, of owners, of builders, of architects. It's a lot to be looked at. And again, the federal government's going to have to some extent, lead the way on that.
Yeah, absolutely. Chris, Governor Ron-DeSantis, he spoke at a roundtable with the president about the situation in Surfside. Take a listen.
We've had people, this is the first response in Florida's history outside of a hurricane where all of our urban search and rescue teams were mobilized. So they've been going in and out of the rubble, searching, trying to find people, trying to rescue people. At a minimum, trying to identify anyone who may be deceased to bring closure to the families, which is very important. But they're tired, and this has taken a toll on them. And so the fact that we now have that search and rescue team from Virginia here, and I know we have some more on the way, that's going to be helpful because this is grueling.
Yeah, that money, that helps. Chris, how much, I can't even imagine the toll that it's taking on these rescue workers. They've been working nonstop, and their goal is obviously to find survivors.
Yeah, and they're working 24/7. I heard a horrible story yesterday about a woman that was trapped in the rubble. Rescuers took 11 hours to try to find her. About the 12th or 13th hour, they no longer heard a voice. So it's kind of presumed that maybe she's no longer with us. But it's taking a great toll on the workers. Tragedies always bring Americans together, and I'm pleased to see the President DeSantis working hand in hand. But it was a little discouraging when I read somewhere that the president is somehow blaming possibly global warming for the collapse of this condo. We need to keep politics out of this and try to solve the problem so we don't have tragedies like this in the future.
Yeah, especially when we don't know the cause. The investigation is still going on. We don't know exactly, what the reason was. I want to shift gears now to Washington, where Nancy Pelosi announced her January 6th commission and said a familiar name. Here is House Minority Leader Kevin McCarthy's reaction.
Well, I was shocked that she would accept something from Speaker Pelosi. It would seem to me, since I didn't hear from her, maybe she's closer to her than us. I don't know.
All right, Amir, I want to give you the final thoughts on this.
Well, it's obviously that Liz Cheney's hatred of Donald Trump is greater than her love of her party and her love of her country. And this is obviously Pelosi trying to create a token or nominal bipartisan committee by putting her on there. And I also think that given the primary challenges that Liz Cheney is facing, that this is probably a moneymaker for her. She's probably needs to have an infusion of money. She's not going to get it from conservatives. So by joining something like this, she's hopefully trying to siphon some money away from the liberal side.
Yeah.
And I think that's where it's at. It's unfortunate.
Yeah, good point. All right. Thank you, panel. Stand by. We'll see you after the break.